Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Just before the show, I got a phone call from one of those car warranty scams.
Nice.
And I pick it up and they say, hi, press 1 if you want to talk to somebody about your car warranty. You're about to have to, pay a lot. You're not caught up. So I pressed 1. And they go, hi, what's your make and model number? I go, why don't you tell me? You have it right there. Just go ahead, tell me. Come on. You have it. Tell me. Come on. And then they go, okay, so we'll put you on the do not disturb list. Thank you. I go, no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Click. And the irony is they're the assholes and they go, fucking dickhead.
I know.
They're
like, listen to all these assholes who are so mean to me all day.
Right.
Like at this point, your phone number comes up as spam risk on my phone.
And it didn't happen to. It looked like a regular number. What am I going to do? So I picked it up and I'm sure I'm already on the list anyway. So I decided to have some fun. But I know at the end of the day, they're like, if you don't want to fall for the scam, just don't fall for it. But you don't got to ruin my day. We're all trying to make a buck over here.
But just for the record, when was the last time you owned a vehicle?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Because they could get me on it. If I had a car, when this first started, now I don't know how every other company wants a warranty for me. How does this keep happening? But yeah, it's just, it's crazy. But how many people have died because, or like have just not come to help a person because it's a number we don't recognize and we're just not going to pick it up. So you could be stranded, your phone's dead. Now you're calling from a different number. Go fuck yourself. Oh, you're leaving a voicemail because then that person will listen to it. LOL, nobody listens to voicemails. So you have to text someone from another person's phone going like, hey, it's me. Here's the code word, because of course anybody could say, hey, it's me.
I tell my stepkids, I say, if you get in trouble with the police, I'm not going to believe them. So I will not come and get you. So do not get in trouble. Every call I get, I assume is a scam.
Yeah.
If the police called and said, hey, we have your stepson here, I'd be like, doubt it. Click.
Right.
Yeah. I got this in the mail from Ryan. Ryan says, Dear Keith, not sure if you already have any of these, but I saw some patches on the table at the last tactical supply show. Who doesn't love tactical supply shows that I attended, and attended, and I couldn't resist. It's Diamond Dogs patches.
That is so cute and so thoughtful.
Based on the show in your VIP package, of course, with me, Adam, and Craig. On a personal note, he adds, I think catfishing your dad, getting caught on purpose, and bragging about it is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my whole life. LOL. Hail to the king. Enjoy. Love, Ryan V. Thank you, Ryan.
Now it sounds like you're a monster and we have a new friend waiting to be introduced. So it sounds crazy that you catfished your dad and you seem to get enjoyment from it. But I think before anyone judges, that's not something that I would be condoning. Like, yeah, absolutely, you did the right thing. Before anybody has a thing to say about it, keithandthegirl.com/dad has the saga's like a 1-year thing with like a bunch of episodes that was put together, keithandthegirl.com/dad. And you're going to understand why in general people don't talk to their parents, why you should be a better parent if you're going to raise a kid who eventually most likely will have a podcast, and just in general, what a crazy person Keith's dad is. And how it was revealed more and more where now, like, there's no excuses. Whatever comes out of your dad's face is crazy.
Well, we have guests sometimes that are like, you what? But I think today's guest will be on board. She's fantastic. You'll love her. We'll introduce Nikki Bond in a second. Her podcast is called Whoa, Dad. It's where she talks on the show. Her absentee father is on the show now, and she teaches her dad how to be an attentive father.
Is that possible? You know what I mean?
I listen to the podcast. No, it's not. But I love it just the same. I love it just the same. And she seems to think she's finding peace. So that's good. Let me announce this. This Sunday, it's our 16th anniversary in podcasting. 16 years. And of course, we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you all for your support. Thank you for listening. You've been there for us more than our spouses have been. So basically, we're married. So happy anniversary to you also.
Oh, I do. Not you. Yeah. To the fans.
Now let's talk about cards, right? This Sunday, March 7th, on our anniversary, we would love to see and hear your experiences that you had with Keith and the girl. Tweet at Keith and the girl if you have a photo of us together, or leave a mention of how long you've been listening, what was your first episode, whatever you want to share with the world, and we'll RT a bunch of those as well. At Keith and the girl. That's always fun. So happy anniversary and l'chaim.
I'm counting that as my anniversary card from people, and I will cry. We know like around how many people listen, right? We're guessing. Let's take 1/10 of that. If 1/10 of the people don't give me a card, I'm going to cry.
Oh my goodness. That's the way to look at all holidays, right? Pam wrote, a bit of a story for you. Last year in pandemic times, I got back in regular touch with my best friend from college. I told her about your show, and at some point we talked about the highs and lows from the place high-low. What's your high of the day? At the end of the day, what's your low point of the day? I'm guessing because we're living through a pandemic, but who can remember why I even brought it up? She teaches a 4th and 5th grade combo class, and this school year started incorporating highs and lows into her communications with the students. This month, she was nominated as Teacher of the Year by her peers, and several parents wrote letters to the school board on her behalf. Look at that. I hope you were thanked, Hamza. She read this one to me, and I asked her to take a picture of this one paragraph. The paragraph reads, Mrs. Blah, blah, blah shares bits of personal information with her students every day and gives each child a chance to share a little about their feelings too, good and bad. She calls it highs and lows. This helps the kids feel like they are important to her, and obviously they are. She goes to great effort to create a safe environment and make her class feel like a family. Pam finishes off. Thanks so much again for all the podcasts and live shows and chats. They're really keeping me going.
Yeah, that high-low game is amazing. First of all, congratulations to your friend. That's a big deal because people love hating teachers, right? And because a lot of you make the rest of you look terrible.
Yep.
So for you to be, written about and to be, rewarded like that is really, really nice. And yeah, high-low is incredible. You could play it with anybody. Like I play it with Xerxes every night. We say the high of the day, the low of the day, and what we're grateful for, just so it could be a nice sandwich. And people play it with their kids. And it's one of those things where it's like, you could either ask the person that you live with, like, how was your day? And then people kind of start to panic. I don't know how my day was. It was a day. It was another day. I don't even know what day it is. So the high and the low, it kind of like separates the days a little bit.
Well, thank you, Pam. That's fun to read. All right. Today's guest. She's the creator of Instagirl, which I love. And it's this superficial woman that goes around, whatever she does, of course, the camera phone is directly on her. And she's in the back of a car once, and she goes, now I'm going to eat what I wanted to cheat day. It looks like McDonald's. And as she eats, she's really just throwing it behind her back out the window. She's like, delicious, a hamburger. One time she's at an airport and she has to scan her passport, but she keeps looking at the camera. I don't even know why they let her on the plane, though, after all that. But she's like, what do I do? The whole thing's fantastic. This is how you cut line. And so she has the camera up and you see her just cutting a line somewhere. And of course, you see everybody's face behind her. I think that's fantastic. She'll play voice messages that she gets from companies, reenact what must be going on the other end of the line. At one point, she makes it like she farted because you think you can tell the person did that on the other end. All of a sudden, the person must have took a bite of yogurt. And you see that. I think these are all fantastic. And the podcast, Whoa, Dad, with her absentee father, where, of course, she teaches him how to be a dad. Ladies and gentlemen, and others, Nikki Bond. Hello, Nikki.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I always wonder.
Best intro.
Right. How does it feel when Keith is sort of reenacting your reenactments, just subquoting you or whatever it is?
I mean, I've never had anybody know that much about me. So either you're good at your job or you're a stalker, but I'll take either one.
All right.
And I guess I just am like, well, I did do it better than him. So maybe check it out. But I appreciate the research.
You were born in Canada, right? Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto.
Okay. Did you ever meet your father as a kid?
I did meet my father as a kid when I was up until the age of 9. I would see him every other weekend for like one day for a few hours. Yeah.
What would you do?
He didn't know what to do with me because he's a drummer and he's a rock and roll guy. So we actually did very strange. We would go to the airport and watch Planes Land. That was like our one main thing that we would do. And I remember one time he was like, "You want to get on a plane? You've never been on a plane?" And I was like smarter than him. I was 5 and I was like, "I know I'm not allowed to get on a plane, Dad, with you. Like if my mom found out I just decided to get on a plane and fly somewhere, you'd be arrested." I was like, "No, we can't do that." So we did that, or we'd go for burgers, go to the park, and he would teach me how to do a headstand. And
Was it
yeah,
fun? Because what do you need as a kid, right? You just need your dad's attention. Did you get the attention, or was he somehow, even while he was there, somewhere floating? Because I think it's funny. I think kids could be very scary, especially if you only see them every other week. It's like, what are you, again, you can't go like, how was your day, kid? Do you like school? What grade are you in? You're done with all your questions by then. So you have to somehow relate. Was it fun that he was a drummer and maybe kid-like?
no. The thing is, he was really bad at dialogue, and we talk about this on the podcast, but he couldn't relate to a kid at all. You're right about saying like, how is school? But and then you run out of questions. But what I'm trying to teach him and like other dads on the podcast is learn what that kid is into. Like, especially with YouTube now and people are watching TV shows, like learn what movie they like, or and talk to them about that kind of stuff. Where my dad wouldn't make that much of an effort to have a conversation because he didn't know what to do. And there's this one story where we went out for lunch down the street from my house, and he said like that I didn't
Which,
talk.
by the way, is not an outing for a kid. They just
No.
eat lunch. They don't go to eat, like, no matter what, some waiter or adult version of a waiter that's taking care of themselves will give them lunch. They're going out to lunch every time they eat lunch. So that's not an actual activity.
Yeah, I'm not like, "Oh, great. Can I also have a cocktail with this
Yeah.
grilled cheese?" Like, and so he took me out to lunch, and his story goes as such that we went out to lunch and I didn't talk much because I was 4 or 5 and I didn't talk much. And so he took out a book and he started reading while
Fun.
I ate my lunch because he thought that I just wanted to eat my lunch in peace. And then my mom and my grandma walked by and saw that I was sitting at the table just eating, by myself, not saying anything. And he was reading a book, and they reamed him out, being like, "What are you doing? This is not how you treat a child." And he's like, "But you didn't really say anything." I was like, "Because I was the kid. Like, you had to make a dialogue happen."
Would your mom and grandma, you lived with both of them?
I lived with my mom, but my grandma was around a lot. I always say she was my dad.
Would they badmouth him when he was gone?
My grandma didn't, never. My grandma's very supportive of him, or was very supportive of him.
Sorry,
And
when you say grandma, your mom's mom?
yeah, my mom's mom.
Okay.
And my mom didn't badmouth him when I was a kid. She didn't start to badmouth him until I was in my 20s. And now, whoo, she'll badmouth him, which is kind of annoying because, like,
it's annoying, but yeah, I think like find a different person to tell it to, but at least she waited, because at some point you have to look at your child and go, look, he's a fucking asshole. Like, if you don't know that I know that, you might think I'm not okay.
yeah. Yes, it's true. And she would make an effort for us to have Christmas together and stuff. But now if she badmouths him, I'm kind of like, you chose to fuck him. I didn't. Like, you can badmouth him all you want, but like, you chose that. So now I have to hear about it. That's what you
Wait,
go to
they
your
still,
girlfriends for.
she's still trying to have Christmas together with him?
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no, no,
okay.
no, no, no.
Now,
Hell
does it
no.
bother her at all that weekly you do a podcast with him? Hey, he's out of my life. I would just like it if he was out of yours too, because he's not really there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it bothered her at first. Like, she wants me to have a relationship with him, but I think like she really put an effort in when I was a kid, because I would bail a lot on hanging out because I had so much anxiety, because I knew that if I hung out with my dad, we wouldn't really say much. But we did fun things like go to the park and watch Planes Land and eat lunch alone. But he didn't say like he didn't know how to have a conversation, and she promoted us hanging out. Then now the situation is like he's really fucked up. Like, now that I think she might be a little bit not resentful. Yeah, maybe resentful that I do have a relationship with him now. She likes that I'm calling him out on the podcast because we really hash out our issues.
Does she ever tell you what to say? Like, hey, ask him why we broke up. Ask him.
No, she does. No, the only thing she'll ever say is ask your father. Well, what did your father give you for Christmas? Well, ask your father for some money. Not that she's holding back from me to not have money, but like she'll be like, did your father give you anything? Did your father give you an engagement? Like she's checking in. And then I have to be like, no, but now I'm an adult and I'm like trying to raise my dad to be a dad.
Has she dated?
Yeah, she's remarried.
Is it a totally the opposite person or totally the same person?
Totally the opposite. I mean, just as cool because he was in the NHL and he's a hockey scout and he used to work like he was assistant GM of a bunch of different teams and then was like substitute coach for the Leafs. So like cool resume. The bitch likes popular guys. What can I say? Like she's hot. She's just
your biological dad, he drummed for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Was he an original member?
He wasn't a original member. No, I don't believe so. No, because he joined because of Jocko Pastorius.
Okay. Did your mom say, hey, you know, you're going band to band, let it go and just stay in this family, or was the breakup unrelated?
Unrelated.
Okay.
He cheated on her.
Okay.
And he like would disappear and like was doing his thing. But I think that she was totally into the band thing. She's very supportive of the arts. That's for sure. And
when did you find out that she got cheated on?
In a video.
No such thing then. She said that like he wasn't around, like he was on tour and like they were fighting and they had like already broken up once. And then she got a phone call from, it was like a really windy day in Toronto and she got a phone call and it was a guy saying, your husband is fucking my wife. And there was like the winds were going to pick up this shed that she had just got from Home Depot. It's really Canadian Tire, but you guys wouldn't know what that was. Mm-hmm. And she was like, okay. Like she had just already like was given up like, all right, listen, I'm really sorry, but my shed is about to blow away right now. And I can't really talk about this because I'm scared it's going to fly away. And he was like, what? And she's
but at the same time, I don't want you to repeat it and hear it twice later. So just understand I heard you and got to go.
Yeah. I get it. Great. And then I guess he like came over and they talked about it and they fucked. No, I'm just joking. They did. But, like, I mean, maybe they did. Maybe. So that's how she found out.
Now
how did you find out?
Right.
Good question. She told me, I guess maybe like 10
on
years
her
ago.
Podcast. Yeah. She's trying to get you to be a good daughter. When did she tell you?
I guess she told me like 10 years ago. She told me the story.
Did you ask? Did she sit you down?
No, she did not sit me down. Oh my God, no. She would have been like, well, you know what I went through with your dad. Oh, he's so stupid. Oh, this and that. Like
she's making you lunch. Like, ask your dad if he ever cheated on me.
Yeah. Well,
ask
Mom, your dad why we broke up.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. But now I know that you can't, this is like, 10 degrees at some point, but her new husband or this relationship, it doesn't bother him that she's still kind of in that space?
No. Because she like genuinely doesn't like my dad, but she can also laugh at him. But my stepdad is like the nicest human you will ever meet. He is so nice that when my dad was in Toronto, he was on tour with like one of the plays he was with. And I went and hung out with him for dinner and that was it. My stepdad called my dad and was like, hey, Nikki's, it was really nice that you saw her. She's like really happy right now. Thanks for doing that.
Oh, your dad hung up like, who gives a fuck?
No, my dad was like, he's such a good guy. Like my dad thinks he's an amazing guy. Yeah, my dad is like a soft soul. Like he's a child stuck in an adult body. So he really like he loves my stepdad. They're not friends, but he just like really respects him.
When your mom would date between your biological dad leaving and the stepdad, did you ever were you welcoming or were you upset at everybody?
Oh, I would kill everybody. I
Yeah.
locked one guy in the basement.
Okay.
Yeah, I hated.
How
Well, there
does
was
that end, by
one.
the way? You lock somebody in the basement. How does that day end?
Okay, so what happened when she was dating this guy I hated. I really,
Why'd
here's
you
the
hate
thing.
him?
I hated him because I hated the guys that try too hard with me. I could
Mm.
tell when they were fake. I still can to this day.
That's what I'm doing with my stepkids. I'm not giving a fuck.
Oh, yeah, yeah, but you
Ah,
also do
smart.
have to give a fuck.
What?
Oh my God. If you don't give a fuck, then they think that you're just like into their mom. You don't care about them. It's more, oh my God. We have to talk, whether it's on the podcast or after this, because Jesus Christ. No, you have to, but you have to ease yourself into it. So her,
I say, like, how was your day? But I don't care too much. Don't let it stress you out the details. You know.
oh my God, you're going to get locked in the basement for sure.
All right.
So she just was dating this one guy that was like too like, hey, like my mom was really hot, like very hot. She still is. It's really annoying. I have a complex, but she'd always like date guys. And I remember I would just like sit on the stairs, like she would be leaving and I'd be with my babysitter and they'd be like, hi, Nikki, how are you? And like get in my face. And I'd be like, no, like I could just sense it. And I still can't handle men like that. But she was dating this one guy and he took up a lot of her time. And I'm an only child, codependent, like used to my single mom around all the time. I mean, I went to daycare, but you know, I could sense it. And this guy just was really sleazy and that he was around all the time. I just felt like he was pushing the boundary of our family. And he was at our house a lot. And what really bothered me was one time he sat down on the couch and watched TV, like changed the channel from what I was watching. And I was like, no. And then I had to go in and be like, Mom, you changed the channel. So I guess he had slept over one night and I didn't know. And they kind of, we had a basement apartment, but no one was in it. So they kind of would be like, oh, when Colin's in town, because he lives outside of Toronto, when Colin's in town, he'll stay in the basement sometimes. But I woke up and I was going to the bathroom and I heard him leave her room, go down to the basement to use that bathroom. And then I went downstairs and then I just locked him in the basement and I sat on the couch and I turned on the TV and I just left him in there. And then my mom eventually woke up and had to like let him out.
And you're like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
No, okay. If I was your mom, I'd be like, something is disturbing. And the fact that there's like a strange dude in the house because he's a stranger until like you decide he's not, right?
Yeah.
So did anything happen between you and between your mom and the dude?
What do you mean? Did anything happen?
Like, did you get in trouble or did she have to like talk to him about like she doesn't like you for a reason?
No, because now that I'm an adult, I get what the relationship was. She was dating a guy, you know, and I guess they were serious. And I think it was one of those classic, like, you're obsessed with that person and you have blinders on and you can't see. Like, he wasn't a bad dude in that he had a drinking problem or was abusive or anything like that. I didn't like his vibe. And, um, so I think that she was so obsessed with him. It was like when you date a player, you know, and you're like, oh, they're so great, and just kind of turned off to everything else. So when that happened, I didn't say I did it on purpose. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were in there. I was such a liar all the time. I was like, I didn't know that you were in there. I just saw that the door was unlocked and I was scared. And then I was like, I didn't hear you. The TV was loud. And so like,
wow. So
she
you didn't get
know.
in trouble?
No. She was sensitive, I think, towards like me being protective, but he became too much. Like I had asthma attacks a lot as a kid because I was allergic to cats and we had one.
Worth it. It's worth it though. They're so fun, these cats.
We got rid of it. We got rid of the cat, but we didn't know. And so I was in the hospital for a month and pretty much a month. And he was there all the time, or not all the time, but when he would come, he would end up taking her to lunch, like away from me, which now that I'm older as a parent, like you definitely need to leave the child's bedside if you're in the hospital every day for a month sleeping there. But I just saw him as like taking her away from me. And the day that I got out of the hospital, I just remember being upstairs and hearing them like doing up their jackets, and my grandma was there. My grandma was like, "You shouldn't be leaving." Hopefully she never listens to this podcast, but I'll tell you all the dirt, the hot goss of Karen. That's my mom. And he was like, my grandma was like, "You shouldn't be leaving. She just got home from the hospital." My mom was like, "It's just going to be for an hour." And they were like going out for a drink. So he was kind of like that bad influence, you know? And I had one other story of bad things that he did, but I forget. My grandma didn't like him either. That was the other thing too.
Okay.
And I woke up one night and I heard them talking about me, and he was saying, "No, but she doesn't like me. I know she doesn't like me." And then my mom was like, "She's just a kid. She's just a kid." It was like that begging, like, "It'll be fine. It'll be fine."
So he gives you your biological dad gives you abandonment issues. Then you get nervous that some boyfriend's going to take your mom away. About how old are you now? May I ask?
So now I am, I'm about 9. I'm about 9 because I met my stepdad at age 11.
And do you still have abandonment issues?
Oh yeah, but I don't know that I have abandonment issues. Are you saying now or when I was 10?
Now.
Oh yeah. Now it's gone over to more like friends abandoning me. And I still definitely have abandonment issues with my dad. Like I still worry, like, is he still going to do this podcast? Like now I'm invested in this. As you said, like teach him how to be a father and it didn't work. You're right. Like it's not working.
Right.
But yeah, big time abandonment issues.
What do you want from him?
I just want him to be held accountable. I just want him to when he's in the kind of space where he doesn't feel like doing something. He doesn't feel like doing the podcast, or he doesn't feel like if we're in town together, he doesn't feel like going for lunch or whatever. He does it because he's a parent and he should put his kid first.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. For everyone. No, that sounds like a good time for you to spend money.
Yeah.
So does he spend money on you, or is he broke?
He's not broke. He didn't pay child support. But then he has a story that my mom and him had a deal that he would give her the house and he then wouldn't pay child support. So I'm not getting involved in that. I'm like, fuck you guys for even trying to like get me to figure this out. I don't give a shit. But he isn't broke because he worked for Disney. He did The Lion King for like 10 years. He was a successful drummer. He worked with like Herbie Hancock and like Nancy Sinatra. Like he had a career, but now he's retired. So he was really great when I moved to the States. We still weren't close, but he paid for my phone bill when I first moved to New York and then to LA. And then something happens that like his show gets cut off and he's like, I can't pay your phone bill anymore, which like sounds bratty of me to say, but and then I said to him, wow, I'm the very first person you call when like something goes wrong financially. Be held accountable, like go through that. Do not put that on me. So he will give, but then it can be taken away like that, which is it's a mind fuck.
You mentioned on the podcast how he struggles with addiction. Have you seen that in person?
Yes, but not with alcohol, just with Nicorette and Diet Coke and Arizona iced tea. Like
she has to, every podcast, she used to check his mouth like a child to see if he's sneaking in Nicorette gum so people don't hear it on the microphone.
Oh, cool. So how long are you gonna be his parole officer? His podcast co-host?
Man, it's brutal. I'm gonna keep doing it, but it's now become the bit, because the thing about him is like people love him. Like everybody that listens is like, I feel for you, but I love Bobby.
Addicts are the best. They're the most fun.
Yeah.
What's your fiance like now?
The
worst.
What's he addicted to?
The worst. He's, it's funny because my fiance is like a mix of my dad and my stepdad. So he's fiance,
the nicest addict.
What?
So he's the nicest addict.
Yeah, I guess actually, yeah, that's pretty much. Yep. He likes weed. He's a drummer or was a drummer. Yep. Uh-huh.
Interesting.
And a sound engineer and goes on tour. So he leaves and comes back. And then sometimes he's not available to chat. And man, that just gets me wet. Like I just can't. Like
He play hockey on the side?
He does play hockey on the side. He's just then like so nice and like actually there. Like my stepdad was actually there and he would do anything for me. And I feel like my fiance would do that, except for sometimes he'll leave. So it's a happy medium, I guess.
Do you ever have to catch yourself like, hey, why didn't you answer my phone call? Like sometimes I can't answer your phone call. Does that happen?
Yeah, I tend to, because I have abandonment issues. I have a problem with out of sight, out of mind, and I've never been able to do long distance relationships. I'd always break up with my boyfriends because I knew that as soon as I didn't see them, I would repress my emotions. I would forget about them in order to protect myself. Because my dad would come and go. I would see him like once every 2 years, and it was so heart wrenching to say goodbye because I knew I wouldn't ever see him again, and I don't even know this guy. So when I started dating my fiance, we did long distance for a while. Not at first, after like 8 months. And I would become like, why didn't you call? Where were you? Not like I wasn't possessive or anything like that, but I would take out my issues on him. And then my therapist would say, well, it's not remember, he's not your dad. But the problem is when he's gone for too long and when he doesn't stay in touch because he's busy, he's managing bands. Like that's very hard.
How long does he not stay in touch? What does that mean?
Means like we might just only text for 3 to 5 days. And if we do talk, he's very hyper because he's like doing something. So it's not a genuine connection or conversation.
Wait,
it's just
did you just say you don't text for 3 to 5 days?
No, we only text. And maybe like one day we won't even text that much. He'll be like, hi, how's your day? Good night. I love you. Like it's not, I'm bad at texting. So it's not a real conversation. So maybe.
So he has quick shits, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like,
out of the bathroom.
Yeah. It's oh yeah. One time he's like, I didn't even have time to pee today, so I didn't. The only time, he said the only time I had today was to go to the bathroom. And I go, cool. You can pick up your phone and call me while you're holding your dick pissing in a toilet. How about you do that, huh? Like I was just so. But the problem is because then I get a wandering eye because then I'm like, I'm not getting validation from my boyfriend, my dad who knows if he loves me. So like, who out there can entertain me? And I got to watch it. Like I'm aware that I do it, but it just seeps in. It's what I'm made of now.
Look at all these people doing 24-hour marathons every day.
Is it ever frustrating that let's say your biological dad fucks up with something? Maybe you're supposed to, meet at a certain time, this kind of thing. And then because the podcast is fun, even if it's serious and you want it to keep going, the things not really get solved. Does he say, yeah, I fucked up. Let's talk about it on the show. Like, no, Dad, it's important. You stole $20 from my dresser drawer. Yeah, let's talk about it. I'm a shithead. Like, is there anything that comes up like that? It's like you're making it frivolous because we have a podcast.
No, I wish, to be honest, I wish that was the case. I wish that he was more like, oh, let's talk about that on the podcast. But that he's more, when we started doing the podcast, it was in person. We spent the longest amount of time we ever had together. We spent a week. He came to LA. We recorded the podcast. We did, I think, 11 to 12 episodes.
Wow.
In person. Yeah. And that was great because it gets him out of his shell. But now that we're doing it remotely and through Zoom, he's not the same. He's not as silly. He's going through some stuff with his significant other who has a health issue. So he's not there. But it's very like it's putting a lot of trauma on me in a weird way that what we are working through or what I'm personally working through, I wish he'd be open to talking about on the podcast. And I'm sure he would if I said, can we talk about this? But it's easier when it's in person. It's just a bit less heavy. But I'm having a hard time because he's not as present or engaging or making an effort because he's going through his stuff, but I'm also not there. So I realized of everything that I talked about with him on the podcast and everything I taught him and everything I thought he understood, he's forgotten. It's like Groundhog Dad. Like, I don't understand how he forgot. And so I do wish he was a bit more like what you're saying. It was like, let's just talk about it on the podcast, because I think people can learn, where it's like a very emotional, it's been an emotional time for me because he's not showing up to something that I actually like really care about now. And it's like the one thing that brought us together, and he's not able to mentally show up right now. And it's really fucking with my head. It's like, not good. But I hope that it helps people and that I'm a very raw and candid about it. But I hope that like my experience can help people who are in my shoes.
But what would make him change? What is he doing that would change anything?
I'm nervous that nothing. I don't know.
When you tell your therapist you're doing this, does she go, yeah, maybe this will help?
No. He goes, my therapist goes,
this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You go, you have to work on you. He can do that, but if you become strong enough with who you are, then you will be fine. And it's just about you. And I'm like, cool. That's not fair. I'm like, I don't want to work on me anymore. I need him to do it. Can he pay for it? This is a lot of money to have to deal with this.
I could be your dad if you want. Ask me if I could pay for it.
Can you pay for it?
Probably. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, let's hear it. Nikki, I'll be your dad. You ask me if I can pay for it.
Hey, Dad, can you pay for my therapy?
Thank you.
I'm surprised you came back, Dad. That was weird.
I was hoping. I knew it.
Have you been around your man because of COVID now? Like, he might not have been able to. That's got to be different. Does it help your how come you aren't calling or texting now? Is it like, hey, I was right, you were right, we shouldn't call or text that much?
It's definitely, this is the most amount of time we've ever spent together. We've never lived in the same place for a year, which we survived, but it is, I don't know if it's going to help. I just need to be distracted, or like just not. I'm an only child, so I'm like super independent, and then I like basically I've been the parent.
Nikki, it's okay. We're all getting on each other's nerves.
Yeah. Oh, no. I was gonna say. So I'm like ready. I'm like, you can go now. You can go. Even like he's gone on a bike ride. I'm like, your tire can pop and you can like go to the shop and like wait till it gets dark to come home. But I think
But if you're gonna pee, please text me during that.
Yeah. But if you're gonna hold your dick into a toilet, then you can text me. So I don't know what's gonna happen when he actually leaves, because I'm a little bit worried I'll be lonely because I'm like used to having him here. But at the same time, I don't know. I think honestly, I'd love to say that I'll be okay with the no texting, but I honestly think I'll still look for a distraction. And by that, I don't mean I'm fucking other people, but I'll definitely like seek attention elsewhere if he's not in touch. It's just like what I'm made up of now, unfortunately.
Is that odd? Not a couple days go by and it's only a couple texts. Is that odd?
You know what? It is odd when I tell people or when other people go through it and they text me going like, hey, how do you deal with this with your boyfriend? But because
fiance, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? A little too much research over there. All right. You could just like tone it down. I just said I need attention and you're really fucking it up for me from all the listeners that might give it to me. All right. He's just my boyfriend. We're not married yet. Who knows if we will.
Was it a romantic proposal, or was it like in bed over sushi or spaghetti or something?
It was with a pine needle. It was with a pine needle. The guy.
You happen to walk in the park or what?
We were on a hike. We've been together 9 years. We're on a hike. He's picking all these leaves behind me. And I'm like, what's he fucking doing? And then I was like, is he like going to propose in my head. And then I was like, no way. Like the guy's had time to think about it. You know, he's been together 9 years. He knows my mom well, my best friend. Like, and then at the end of the hike, he's like, Nikki. And then he gets down on one knee and he goes, nice things. And I'm like, I was freaking, I was like, stand up, shut up, shut up. Like, I'm just so, I have issues.
Don't
I'm like,
ruin
no.
this for me.
I was like, don't do this. It was like
it wouldn't have mattered if he had a diamond ring, would it?
No, it would have been nice. It would have been nice. Cause then I said, where's the ring? And he goes, right here. And I was like, oh, the pine needle that you got from the tree 2 seconds ago? What the fuck is that? Can I return it and pick my own? I think so, actually.
You throw it. Okay, it's returned. Let me go find my own now. It's not my style.
It lit on fire. Is it insured?
You should start wearing it. You start wearing it so that friends in front of him ask you.
I can't. My cat ate it. Like it's what?
When you were 1 year old, you heard that your parents moved into a haunted house.
Yes.
And your dad talked to the ghost, right?
I talked to the ghost. My
you
dad
talked
didn't
to the ghost.
I talked to the ghost.
Did your dad acknowledge the ghost that you were talking to?
My dad, they didn't acknowledge the ghost. They didn't see the ghost. My mom saw it once, but my dad was just scared of the ghost.
Okay.
So
do you believe looking back there was a ghost?
I do believe there was a ghost. Yeah.
Okay. What would the ghost talk? What would you guys talk about?
He'd be like, hey, I'm trying to tell you, your dad's fucking someone else. You got to tell your parents.
This is a gossipy ghost. Was it always in the mirror?
He's like, your mom has sick tits. Like, just let her know she's can find other men. I saw her this morning in bed. She's looking good. I don't know what we did, but it's funny because when they told me this story, so I was 1 when I lived in the house, but my dad told me when I was like 7-ish, 6 or 7 about the ghost.
It's haunted.
Are you sure he wasn't reading the book that he was reading out loud? Does your ghost story sound anything like Harry Potter or others?
Is that rude? Like I would debate having a kid with a dog that I already knew top to bottom. You believe in a haunted house? Like they'll be good with kids. The house.
I mean, I grew up with my parents being like not spirit, they're not religious or anything, but I grew up with them like having ghost stories, like proper ghost stories. My grandparents were in the circus. My dad's parents were in the circus. And then my mom and dad bonded. The only reason why they were really together was because they met and both of their dads had just died within that month. And so they bonded over the death of their dads and like mourned together and grieved. And then my mom went to Florida and saw the ghost of my dad's dad. And so like, I'm just used to the stories. Like I grew up as a ghost kid. That was like the norm.
Do you like the idea of ghosts? Because they're always there.
You grew up with a ghost too, right? Doesn't every Catholic?
Grow up with the Holy Spirit. That's different.
Well,
yeah, we don't.
Still a ghost.
The Holy Spirit doesn't rattle things around and talk to you. You know,
but does he wear long gowns?
He wears long gowns. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But
yeah,
that was
is he
the
kind
style.
of see-through?
That was the style, kind of see-through. I'd never really see him per se. Now I'm sad. Where was my ghosts? Right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm a bit more special than I thought.
Do you have one now?
Do I have a ghost?
Yeah. You got a ghost friend now?
No, I don't have a ghost friend now.
Is that the saddest thing I just brought up?
Like a little bit. I don't know why, my dad came back and the ghost left. Like, I just don't know why you would do that.
Have you watched Drop Dead Fred?
I love Drop Dead Fred.
Hard to relate, right?
Oh, my favorite movie when I was a kid.
Thank you. It's so good. People don't understand.
I think it's on Netflix now or one of the streaming channels.
It can never be. I'm checking right now.
No, it was.
Stop
it was on. It was on something, and I said to my boyfriend Keith, "If you say fiance, honestly, I'm hanging out."
Right, that's fair.
I was like, "Have you seen this movie?" And he hadn't. It's so good.
Thank you.
What did you get out of it, Nikki? I mean, obviously everybody knows, but I like to hear it from the person. This stupid movie.
He was a silly guy. He was mischievous. So
was he real?
Yeah, you know what? He was real.
We're trying to look normal here.
Was he real, Kenda?
No, he's not real. He's an imaginary friend. He comes like she has to be a good girl. So if she does the bad girl things on her own and doesn't have this thing,
like put her face in soup. That's the bad girl stuff, right?
She's going through some shit, and she puts mud on her mom's perfect carpet because she's so sick of her mom being this perfect thing and not acknowledging a bunch of crazy shit is happening around here. So by the little girl pointing to this drop dead Fred person who is her, the other side of her that she's not allowed to be, this guy does the weirdest, most fucked up shit that if a child does it, you would think they were fucked up. So maybe alarm bells, they are fucked up. The only reason why he goes away is because she let go that she needs to be perfect. She lets go that she needs to be perfect for this guy, her mother, or anybody. And he says, everything's all right. She loosens her binds and he disappears. The only reason why he came back is because she needed to divorce this asshole. Every time there's chaos in her life, this guy comes in, fucks shit up on the outside so that people don't go, oh, you're perfect, everything's perfect, like a lie. She fucks it up on the outside so that she has to either look at it or shit's going to get further fucked up.
Did you watch the same movie?
This is not how I remember the movie because I saw it as a kid. That you just explained it to me, and I'm like, whoa! This whole time, I was just like, man, she got a better imaginary friend than me. Oh well, that's cool. Like that's profound.
The whole movie, yes, it's about that whole good girl thing, and you need this other dude. You need this like adult dude. Like, hey, he did it. I'm still a good girl. All good.
Damn, I'm definitely going to rewatch it.
Why did her father not get any shit from Drop Dead Fred? Because her father would acknowledge Drop Dead Fred is there. It's okay that she's not a good girl. It's okay that she does weird shit. Tell me about the weird shit pie, just like you were saying. Like, tell me about this pie that you made out of literal garbage. Tell me about it. And then he didn't get it in his face.
Damn.
Nikki just saw the end of The Sixth Sense. This is mind blowing.
I mean, yeah, this whole time I was just like, oh yeah, it's like this mischievous friend and they play tricks on each other and it was really, really fun. And I had no idea that this was the real meaning of the movie. And
did you have imaginary friends different than ghosts?
Beside a ghost, I had a rabbit.
It would talk, I assume? Because that'd be lame.
No, it didn't really talk. Like maybe it did, but it just would like show up in the car sometimes, and his name was Rabbit.
And you can really see it?
No, I couldn't really see it. And that was kind of frustrating that I couldn't actually see it because I thought when people saw their imaginary friends and Drop Dead Fred, because when I was so young, I was like, well, I want to see it like she does. And I'd be so frustrated because I just would want to like physically see it there and I never could. Okay.
And how old were you? This is like 24, 25?
It's actually still going on. And it's actually my fiance. I just never drop his name.
So what are we thinking so far, Kenda? Kenda's more in touch with the emotions and the brain and trauma.
Well, she didn't grow up with any spirituality or religion. So the rabbit is just like how people feel about God. I can't see him, but he is there. So when I need comfort, there's another something with a heart beating right next to me or with some kind of thing that they're on my side, even if they're not saying anything. And yes, Drop Dead Fred would be a fantastic friend. So relatable. Wasn't it great when they were all in the, okay, I'm going to get into it. When they were all
remember, she watched it when she was 4, so.
Watch it again. And then
I will.
And then we do a whole podcast on that. Guys, Keith, you didn't see any of this stuff when you watched Drop Dead Fred?
I believe that she was mental and she was making this stuff up. Yeah.
But did you see why?
I have to imagine I got it, if that's okay to say. Okay. This wasn't The Matrix. This wasn't.
I don't know, Keith. It doesn't sound like you actually got. If you have to imagine you got it, I don't know.
I don't know if you know this, but he just said like 5,000 feelings, like with whatever the synapse that was happening in his brain, just to say like, I totally got it on a deeper level that I probably understand. That's like
What?
just
Right.
great.
Well, Nikki, what is a way that, like, how do you tell your dad, hey, yeah, okay, you didn't work out with your mom, but here's what I'd rather you did, or even if you couldn't be around, I don't know if this is even an option. Here's what you could have done and said, so that I don't end up a fucked up kid thinking it's my fault. Is there anything somebody can do when somebody's that young?
Yeah, and we talk about it on the podcast, but as I said, he doesn't remember. So
Right.
I think that my biggest advice to not fuck up your kid if you are trying to do a long distance relationship with them is, as I said, like, look into things that kids are into at the time. And even if kids don't want to talk on the phone, they don't know what to say, they want to talk to their friends, like, you really have to chip away at them and treat the kid as if it's like a job interview. Treat it like if it's something, a job you want, like, make the actual effort and find something. I said to him, and even still, like, I said, he's obsessed with Mr. Rogers. He's just discovered Mr. Rogers. I was like, where were you? And he's like, and you can just get into the child's mind. I'm like, yeah, because he tries. Like, you have to try. And I totally get that a lot of people aren't in touch with their child mind. And for some reason, my memory is insane and I can really remember all that stuff. And I just wish he had of found things that I was interested. I really like trolls. I liked, like, coloring, anything, like, find out what's hot with the kids and do some research so that you can bring that up or kind of ask them questions about it. And as I said, like, with TV and YouTube and all that kind of stuff right now, like, kids are so into YouTube stuff. Just look up those videos and talk to them about it.
I do that with my stepkids. I go, hey, how's it going? Who's sus today? I'll say, and then I can relate to them. Are you nervous at all that this is even weird to think about, but you and your boyfriend, you're together, maybe you get married, and then let's say it doesn't work out. Do you worry that I have to stick with it anyway because I know the damage this can do, whether the kid stays with me or not? Is that a thought?
No, not at all. Fuck all those kids up, man. Like,
Right.
just screw
I gotta live
them.
my life. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, definitely not. I don't ever think you should stay together at all. I just think that if you are, it's not even the divorce that screwed me up. It's the fact that I'm a parent to both of my parents that screwed me up, and that I am constantly chasing my dad down to be accountable. And here's just to sum it all up. I blame AA because
if you've ever heard of ACOA. Okay, go.
I blame AA because his whole theory with me is what he said was let be, let God. So he treated our relationship my whole life as like, she will come around when she's ready. No, I won't. I'm a child. I don't know how to make connections with people. I don't know how to keep in touch. I don't have those. I don't have those skills. So I was watching a documentary and they talked on AA being like, yeah, let be, let God. And I was like, that's what my dad says. And then I realized it's AA that taught him that. And that is the reason he thought it was totally okay to let me be and that I will come around. And that's what fucked me up the most, is that in our relationship, I'm still the one that makes the effort. And I'm the only reason this relationship exists, because he wouldn't have tried anyways, because he was waiting to let God make it happen.
Penda?
Did you ever go to an AA meeting or Al-Anon or ACOA?
No, I haven't.
Okay, he might be misquoting the Bible just like Christians do. That might be what's written in the Bible, but there's other stuff written in it also. So it's like the Jehovah's Witnesses, knocking on your door, sounding like they memorize the entire thing, but they're not telling you the next sentence that follows that or the work behind it to make that true.
Right.
Let go and let God that's not like just God will get your kid to talk to you. Although he was right. You did find a way to keep getting in touch.
Yeah. And I think that if that wasn't the case, I'd be famous by now because I would have so much more confidence than what I do. I just am like so self-doubt. Everybody else is better than me. I'm not deserving. And it's all because he let go and let God fuck me over.
You will enjoy the shit out of these meetings in the way that you'll cry for the first 6 at least.
Okay, so Hemda would like you to rewatch Drop Dead Fred and check out a meeting for 1 month.
Can't wait.
Okay. That is today's homework. You know what? We're going to do another stereo show. Stereo, Stereo, the app. And if you go to stereo. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if I was getting the face. Stereo.com/Keith Malley, stereo.com/Hemda. You'll log in right there. You'll see the shows that Hemda's done on there, that I've done on there, and the shows we've done together. We're going to do one again Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And that's always a lot of fun, and you can interact, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Download the free stereo app and select our names so you can connect with us whenever we're live. Okay. We'll mention again at the end of the show, of course, but you go to stereo.com/Keith Malley or /Hemda, and you'll see everything that's going on right there. All right. Let's talk about the Golden Globes, Hemda. Go ahead.
People. Okay. Golden Globes, obviously a great tradition yearly, of course, around this time, every time, where we acknowledge people that are famous.
Yes. What do they do?
Let's see. What is it? Global
Globes.
The Golden Globes. The Golden Globes, of course, they probably are awards for movies and TV.
Yeah, that is correct.
And musicals.
And musicals too, on TV and movies form.
Oh, and then music?
Don't push it. So they did it over Zoom today.
Or was not Tom Cruise there?
You would have thought he was there many times. Yes.
Okay.
Other people won't think so. So they did it over Zoom. And I usually get into these award shows. I like seeing people trip and stutter and do these political speeches that people get annoyed about. But because it's over Zoom, it didn't have any gravitas, and I really couldn't give a shit. And I can only last so long. And a mistake was funny, but then the mistake would keep happening. You're like, well, now this is just stupid. Zoom's not working. Zoom's not working right. The very first person who won an award was muted. He can't talk. And the hosts were Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, but for no reason, they're hosting from separate locations in LA. But obviously they're tested and whatnot. They could be on stage together. For no reason, they're in two different places. And of course, nothing matches up right. It just doesn't. And, they're like saying, and now we're going to give this Lifetime Achievement Award to the incomparable, the fantastic. And as Amy's saying fantastic, Tina goes, Norman Lear. Like there's nothing's in sync. And it seemed like a real child's production. And the Emmys, for example, have done this over Zoom before. I don't know why it was such a mess.
That's so weird. And also, how is Zoom just dominating this? These are people with equipment and knowledge and departments and department heads for all this kind of stuff. And Zoom apparently is just the best. I'm not shitting on it.
Well, Zoom is suing the Golden Globes now for making them look so bad.
I'm just in shock that this is the platform that's the most secure, and I don't even know if it is. It's just this is what everyone figured out. So our game show is the same as the Golden Globes in terms of production. It's just odd. Except
I think we spend more time on mic checks because people's sound was bad, people's video was bad, and they did. You know what's funny? They would go, okay, up next after the commercial, Best Actor. And they would show 5 Zoom screens of the actors that are nominated. The actors are talking to each other, and you're supposed to feel like you get some inside look. But I don't think they told the actors because they keep saying things like, this is ridiculous. And they're like, yeah, this is silly. Anyway, too bad we can't meet in person. Yeah, I don't know what are we live? What do we do? When do we start?
And
those are the actors coming up for Best Actor in a TV series.
And you stopped watching? I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
once because it kept repeating. So once I saw everything, I'm like, okay, now it's just repeating. So
So you're gonna look for like a supercut of all their shit talking? I guess it would have been in the news if there was really some deep.
You can barely hear it, but just once in a while you hear like, this is ridiculous.
Wow. Let me tell you a little something about behind the scenes of we have a game show called Silent Trailers. We do it once a month. The next one is March 20th. And we do make people come in a half an hour early for a mic check, a sound check, and then we tell them how to do things. And if I swear to God, we make them practice. And it is every time we are about to make them practice, I'm like, please don't hang up, one of you, because we go, here's what we're going to do. All of us are going to practice now. You're all going to turn off your mics and your cameras, and you're going to hear the announcer voice. When you hear the announcer voice, you start you start turning on your videos as you hear it. And now we're going to practice. And then I'm like, nope, nobody's, giving me any, talk back or anything about this. And we practice. And I swear it's better. The way you see it in the actual show is much better because we did. But I don't know, do you feel like a cornball when we do that?
Sure. And you think like, I think we know how to turn a camera on. It's like, I promise you don't. During the Golden Globes, these people aren't used to Zoom, I guess. And they don't know that we can see almost everything. So one person was reading, like Mark Ruffalo, for example, was reading a speech, obviously on an iPad, and the wife thought she was below the screen, is like scrolling it up for him as he's reading. Well, I can see your arm going up and down. I know you're either jacking him off, and that's why he's stuttering, or you're not scrolling fast enough, and that's why he's pausing. There was Don Cheadle was they just cut to all the people, and the wife was looking around, and Don Cheadle elbows his wife like, we have to pay attention. You never know. Like, I see that. I can see that stuff. But then with that said, I can only last about half of it. But I will, you tell me, ladies, what movies you've seen. I'll tell you the winners. Best supporting actor in a film, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah. He's the one, by the way, the Golden Globes, I don't know if you heard this, there's controversy. It just came out that there's no black members on this 80-member board. And by the way, they sure did apologize enough for it.
How is that just coming out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're very hush hush about the members, and somebody looked into it. So the president came out and apologized. Tina and her partner are making jokes about it, but it's almost as if they said, "But don't worry, we'll make up for it. If there's a black person, he's winning tonight." End of story.
Oh my God.
And could be a coincidence. Who knows?
No,
there are
it's
a lot
not.
of black winners. I'm just saying. If there's a black person in your category, you did not win. They were making up for something. So the first guy, his sound didn't work at first. And then Laura Dern, with the presenter, was like, and apparently that didn't work. And everybody's like, is this going to go on all night? And it didn't necessarily, but people kept asking, are we on? Are we on? Like all throughout the night. So anyway, then she goes, okay, sorry that we couldn't talk to him. We'll go to the next award and get this fixed. And all of a sudden you hear the guy go, hey, I'm here. You messed up. And meanwhile, it's like, yeah, or you messed up because, maybe you're on mute and they didn't tell you. Who knows? We never knew whose problem it was.
So let me ask you that. Usually with the Golden Globes, they have to hire cameramen, production crew, stage crew, all of this stuff.
Right.
Is there just one dude manning the entire Zoom?
Right.
But where's the crew? Why are you relying on anybody to unmute themselves? They are famous. They don't usually deal with their own mics. Listen, we're podcasters. We do deal with our own mics. Most likely if we have an engineer, that engineer is getting on Zoom and they're doing the work. So who did somebody just purchase a month of extra Zoom? And then they just go, how could this go wrong? What was the production behind it?
I saw Best Supporting Actor in a TV series, limited series or TV movie. John Boyega for Small Axe. I never heard of that. But I see Dan Levy for Schitt's Creek is in there. That's funny if he hasn't won Best Actor before. Now it's like, you got it right on season 17.
Yeah. Yes.
But Catherine O'Hara did win for Best Actress in a TV series for Schitt's Creek. She's like, I got this, kid. But then she tried to do something funny with the husband, where the husband played music to play her off like she was going on too long, which could be cute, but you're the husband. Like, have somebody like nobody, not that I would recognize the husband, but I could tell. Have somebody I wouldn't recognize like behind her. Now it just looks like you're really her husband and bored. And people don't understand Zoom quality is only so good that it was all muffled, the music, because it was too loud, and then muffled her speech in real life.
Actually, what happens is Zoom doesn't play music like that. It will pick up that it's music and actually turn the sound off. So unless you're playing it directly from a computer, it will mute you.
Oh, it just came in like garbled noise.
Yeah, it's not going to play it. Like play, if you're on a Zoom call, play from your phone, just like, hey, listen to this, as if you could put it for a speaker, like it's,
Right.
into the telephone. No one could hear it. Zoom actually takes away the sound.
Soul, the cartoon, won for Best Animated Film, and it got, I think, a couple of music awards. And Tracy Morgan, I think, Best Original Score. And he goes, and your winner is Sal. And then he looks like, you only got to know 5 movies, period. And they're cartoons, so they're pretty simple titles, right? Onward, Over the Moon. These are simple things. It's not Broke Down Palace or something like this. So he looks, he goes, Sal. And then he looks at the piece of paper, goes, Sss, and he goes to fix it. And he's like, never mind. And then they're taking too long. And so then he goes, I meant Soul. And then by the time he says that, the trailer's already going or people are already being introduced.
Oh my God.
I mean, he was in a bad car accident, so I guess we can blame it on that.
I guess he gets another million every time he fucks up. It's like, see, come on. Best screenplay, The Trial of the Chicago 7, Aaron Sorkin won. Nomadland, with who is that? Who's the woman from the original Fargo? Frances McDormand. Very good. She's in this movie. Sometimes I play silent trailers with myself. She's in this movie, Nomadland. It didn't win for best screenplay, but it won for best movie, period. I happened to see it yesterday. I don't know what the fuck I'm watching. Do you ever what world are you in? She walks around the desert. She's upset because she lost her job and her husband died. You never find out the story of either. And she just travels and walks around the country. I don't get what I was watching at all. What could be the screenplay though? Walk over here sad, walk over here happy, and you do manual labor sometimes. Okay, good. I don't know if it's a joke. Could somebody explain this movie to me? I don't get it. And then it ends. The movie ends, and I'm like, yeah, why not now? Because sure, the end. Sure. I don't even know if she ever found peace. I guess so.
Was it Eat, Pray, Love of the Desert or something?
Eat, Pray, Love probably. Did she eat in that?
She ate a lot. Oh, Julia Roberts got so fat that they had to make mention of it for several scenes. Oh, I'm so fat. Her and her super fat friend went to an Italian restaurant, and they're like, I can't eat this anymore because I'm so fucking fat.
It was originally called Eat, Get Fat, but then they wanted to make it more diverse.
Right. I wasn't going to see that. Best TV series drama was The Crown, with a lot of actors and actresses winning things. I do want to check that out. In that category for best TV series drama, The Mandalorian, the Star Wars show that I've been watching. And what a slog this is. This Mandalorian, every episode, he's got to go on some, death-defying mission because he's a bounty hunter, but they really force these. He's like, I'm hungry. I want a sandwich. And this guy's like, well, I'll give you one. You just got to go to Kriplock and kill the invisible death dragon. He's like, it seems fair for a sandwich. And then he goes on some half-hour adventure. It has nothing to do with the rest of the show necessarily. I know he's carrying around this Baby Yoda you probably heard about. And none of these shows have anything to do with Baby Yoda. He's just going around killing things.
The Mandalorian, is that with the Wonder Woman thing, or is that a totally different thing?
I don't know what Wonder Woman thing means, but it is with the woman that was controversial online and won't work with Star Wars ever again.
What's the show that you're watching that you actually like?
Oh, WandaVision.
WandaVision
Yes.
and The Mandalorian.
Two different
Totally
shows.
different.
Totally
God damn
different.
it. I've been half listening to you talk about this. I thought The Mandalorian was like a vehicle in the other show.
Right. No, they're totally different.
Okay.
One's great, one's stupid.
Cool. Okay.
Are you watching any of these, Nikki?
No, I watched Soul, but out of everything you've said, no. I mean, sorry, I watched Sal, but I haven't watched Mandalorian.
Best actor in a film, speaking of superheroes, drama, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And I say because of superheroes, because he's dead, they had somebody come out and they didn't say if it was him or not. And they were in it, the guy was in a Black Panther costume and said, "Thank you very much." Very, very offensive. Very offensive.
Okay. Very
Best director, Nomadland, winner. What the fuck? Best director, walk over there, walk over here. I don't get it. It angers me.
It's just whatever's artsy, whatever is artsy. And if you're confused, they're like, great, that was the point. Because we didn't know what we were writing. So we want to pretend we meant to do that.
I wonder if artsy things that have no point get good reviews, because as a film guy, you must be like, it's got to be something deep in there. A+.
I think so.
First guy rates A+, everybody just follows. Like, you can't be the asshole that goes, no. What? She just walked around. Can't be, there's no way. Yeah, best film, like I said, best director, best musical or comedy, the Borat sequel.
Oh my God, that was good.
It was
good.
Good.
Great. He also won for best actor, but the woman was up for best actress and she did not win.
She was really good.
She was great.
Was amazing. That's a tough job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
3 different languages are going on. You're improvising. You're pissing people off. You need to react with a straight face. You can't fuck it up. There's only one take. That is tough. And then you're the lead with this dude who's like the god of this entire genre. Like he's the best. She was amazing.
Now, when Nomadland gets best director, best film, and everybody takes drama more seriously than comedy, so that's the highest award. But then Frances McDormand is up for best actress, and it's all about her walking around. You just see her face. She doesn't win. How does that happen? Best movie, best director. It's only about one person. Nothing for her, though.
Oh,
explain that.
Oh, no.
We didn't she wasn't the best out of 5, but the movie was so good.
The director directed someone, like, we could tell that he directed somebody else. It would be even better.
Right.
That's a hard thing to swallow.
Yeah.
She works at an Amazon warehouse for a minute. And I'm like, what was this? But it has nothing to do with anything.
It's just, they want you to feel bad for her.
You want to feel bad, like she's a menial job, but but obviously they didn't sneak into Amazon offices. So because of that, there's a line like, I'll go back to the Amazon job. They pay good. I'm like, okay, not what I heard, but all right.
And then Amazon's like, thank you for promoting us.
Yeah, I'm like, what did you get paid though? Like, I'd say there's no need for the scene, but there's no need for the movie.
God damn it. Now I want to see it.
You'll love it
when you do that.
It's on Hulu and you just got it because of Britney.
I do have Hulu because of Britney, bitch.
All right. I'm just going to report next show.
What's it called again?
Shit. But not Schitt's Creek. That's different. Nomadland. Like no man's land.
Okay.
Get it? All right, let me mention one more time the Stereo app. You want to download it? It's free. Stereo.com/Keith Malley, stereo.com/Hemda. Either one is fine. Make sure you're subscribed to both, though, which is free, so that you know whenever we do shows. We'll do a live show this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
And by the way, these live shows are not the shows that you're getting in the feed now. They're going to be exclusively on Stereo. It's sort of like a behind the scenes after show. So join us live this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be super fun. And you can jump in. So if you have something to say, we will play it. So use our link, stereo.com/Keith Malley or stereo.com/Chemda. And yes, it does matter.
There you go. Nikki, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. This was a blast.
Nikki, you can follow at nikkibon.com. Same thing with the at Nikki Bond social media. And the podcast is called Whoa Dad. And yeah, you want to be it's weirdly great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, now you guys gave me more issues because you're saying ghosts aren't real and that it's not AA's fault. So I'm going to go to therapy. And once again, will you guys pay for my therapy?
All right, we got to go. Okay, talk to you soon. Thanks.
KeithAndTheGirl.com